Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Oh, the excitement. It shows 11 people are on. I can see that Sue's saying hello to Tish. Anne's saying hello to Tish. No, Tish was saying hello to Sue. Oh, can't even get that. Ah, splendid. Well, it's a little bit spooky today because I only needed 2 goes to get in. So that's always right. Normally I have my get into Streamlabs, nobody's there, nobody can hear me. Fine, go out, try again, Streamlabs crashes, go again, fine, splendid. This time, only needed the 2nd time. Emma, I'm very pleased that you're on the naughty step. I have forgotten your transgression, but I'm sure it was a very, very bad one. Hello, so I'm going to say hello to some people. So I'm going to say hello to Sue. I'm going to try and smack myself in the face with the gimbal. I'm going to say hello to Tish, hello to Anne, hello to Janie, hello to Emma, who's on the naughty step. Hello, Rosie. Hello, Gregory. It is blustery. Yes, I am. I'm very pinky. Hello, Pizzazz. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Kathy. Oh, everybody's on board. How exciting. Yes, I do love a bit of pink. I think my favourite colour when I was younger was pink. So I obviously haven't changed. I mean, I've changed my clothes, to be clear. Hello, John, you naughty little monkey. Hello, mate. It's almost like I was just talking to you. Oh, Tish is an apostrophe fiend. Pinks, pink. That's interesting. Does it belong to... Oh, hello, Claire. Yes, I saw some postcards from John's tour. I thought that he should have dressed up himself as well. I think that's next on the list. So I just need to give you a warning. There is a chance of me falling over on this tour. It's very, very slopey. I'm at the top of a hill, so it's probably not surprising that it's slopey. Oh, Emma, you did though, didn't you? Because your sister-in-law actually tagged me. Ah, John was wearing sandals and socks. Sandals and socks. Socks and sandals. A little bit concerning. I think I'm jigging. On the bench. I think the bench is a bit slopey as well. It's either me or the bench is slopey. Or it could be that the bench is on a slope. Let's have a look, shall we? Shall we have a look? Oh, I mean, one would have thought I might have actually noticed that before I sat down. It's definitely on the slope. But it was dedicated to Paul Smith. I'm assuming that's not the actual one who designed the perfume. As today I know I'm living, but tomorrow could make me the past. But that I mustn't fear, for I'll know deep in my mind the love of me I've left behind, 'cause I'll be loving you always. That's a song. I've absolutely killed the song. The end of it is 'cause I'll be loving you always. Well, there you are. Oh, hold on. I'll sit on my slopey bench. I tell you what I'll do is I'll also pull on the mic. I'll do various things all at the same time. None of them potentially a good idea, shall I? Right, so hello Ginny and your jaunts. Hello Trista, hello Dawna. If I've missed anybody, please do let me know, because I know there's a lot of, what do we call, lurkers. I think, Gregory, you are right. Punctuation would have helped. Punctuation. And perhaps even some music in the background to help me work out what the tune was. And maybe somebody else singing it. That would have worked well too. So for those of you who have just joined or indeed watching after the tour has been live, it's 6:50 on the nose. And that means there's 10 minutes until I go live. So if you are watching on YouTube after I've gone live, you can put your little finger and go for 10 minutes until we start the tour. Any water nearby? No, Donna. No, well, yes, Donna. I mean, there are houses and I could always knock on the door and ask for a glass of water. However, if you mean am I going to fall into a river? No. Actually, I think there is more of a risk of me landing on my bot than at any point on any tour. That noise, the... if you do now, Tish, whenever you're on YouTube and you wish to actually move your video, you have to make that noise. It's now obligatory while I sit here on my slopey bench. It was raining earlier and I had trust in the BBC that it was indeed not going to rain at this point. And I'm pleased to note that it is not raining. It is rather blustery, as our Gregory did indeed say. It is rather blustery. There's more people around than I had expected on a Sunday evening, and I'm getting looked at by quite a few children who are wondering what on earth I'm doing, because I'm sat not only on a very slopey bench, which probably looks like a seesaw and is actually sloped due to the weight of my bottom, but indeed why I'm talking into a gadget. So yes, I think, well, it's rather stormy at the moment indeed, and I've decided the weather next Sunday is looking a little bit dire, so I'm going to be doing my mind canoe, which I'm rather excited about. Dorna's going to have her own mind canoe, and unfortunately I've heard that it will be a little bit choppy on the water at some point, and Doina may actually fall out. That's a new one, Doina. Yes, so there you are. So hopefully you'll all join me on my mind canoe next Sunday. Well, Tish, I can't possibly comment about the leaks in your mind canoe, but I will suggest you plug them up before we go and we drift. It's going to be a very relaxing tour. It's going to be my mix between meditation and mindfulness, and hopefully I won't nod off during the tour. Oh, is that a plane? That's a plane. Is that a plane? Is it Superman? It's a plane. There you are, because you've never seen a plane before. There you are. How splendid. Can you see that very, 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 very small plane that nobody's ever seen in their life before? Claire's hopeless at paddling her mind canoe. Well, you'll be an expert after you've been on my tour. And indeed create your own mind canoe with no help. And I'll show you everything. To be fair, we are close to Rochester Airport, but I think that's a big one. I don't think we get those flying off. Last time I was here, there was a plane coming from Rochester Airport, because of course we are on the way to Rochester, and some of you will have been with me to Rochester, and indeed Natalie before. We had our Dark Tales of Rochester. I took you to Rochester for my 25th anniversary sunset, and John was there. And of course there was no sunset. There was a rather large cloud that encompassed anything and everything, but we had a nice time anyway, didn't we? If anybody remembers. Trista says the last time she took one of my mind tours she fell asleep, which, since she really needed to relax, it sort of worked out, but not quite how I expected. I am quite pleased. I think I'm the guide that has sent more people to sleep than anybody else. It's quite a tagline. Join my tours, I'll make you fall asleep. At the end of the day, I like to think that my voice is working in the background, sending you lots of relaxation. So for those of you that know their dates, and of course, why would you? 25th of July 2007 is when I moved to Kent. So what that means is very soon we are going to be hitting my 26-year anniversary. And I am going to be doing another sunset tour, and it's going to be from here. And let's just hope there'll be some sun. John, where you can fly to from Rochester? Little plainages. Little plainages. It's not a fly off to the Canary Islands for a fortnight. It's a little sort of airport with helicopters and small planes. We have got 5 minutes to go till we go live, and I am it's quite a nice little sheltered spot, this. Well, I say sheltered. I mean, I assume it's more sheltered, or I could just actually be in a wind tunnel. Lots of rubber bands. It's concerning when sometimes I see random comments. Lots of rubber bands. What? That probably has bearing on something. Is it? It's a paper aeroplane port. Yes, it is, Dawna. I think it's for private planes, and I'll be telling you about the airport later. Funnily enough, the one thing I looked at is I won't spend hours looking at the airport because I'd already fallen down some rabbit holes, which I tend to do when I'm researching a tour. And I thought, who's going to want to hear lots about the airport? And of course, now you're going to want to know lots about the airport. And I decided you probably didn't. So there you are. It's got planes in it. It's close by. Bly? Yeah, still not sure about the rubber bands. So how's everybody been? It was very hot last night, despite the rain. It's nothing short of annoying when it's very, very rainy and very, very hot, because you can't open the windows, because then you end up with a wet house. And it's bad enough that Apollo doesn't seem to realise that wet cat is not the fashion statement of the year. Oh, to project the planes, of course, silly me, Tish. Why didn't I think about that? Of course, yes. My middle name, no, it's not Alice. I'm sure there's something else in there that I've missed. Oh yeah, I'll be honest, I'm just going to let you chat amongst yourselves. No idea what you're talking about. Yeah, well, he bless him, Apollo, actually, quite concerning for all Apollo fans. I looked at his back feet earlier while they were stuck in the air while he was having a tummy tickle. He's got little sores on the bottom of his pads, and I think he's fallen down and maybe scraped his leg. Do you like the movement? Because otherwise you wouldn't know what it was. So this is his little back paw. I won't show you both because then the gimbal will fall down. And I think maybe he's jumped down from something and scraped, and it really looks quite sore. So I'll have to keep an eye on that unless they get infected. Yes, well, the thing is, Ginny and Dawna, who are mocking me for not realising the Alice link was to rabbit holes, you have to realise that you are paying more attention to what I'm saying than I am. Yes, Pesharoo, I was removing some grass seeds and grass balls from her tail because she decides she's a mop when she goes outside and they all stick to her. And she decided it'd be super fun to stick her claw really deeply into my finger. It wasn't actually. I did advise that it wasn't actually that funny as I was bleeding massively. Shall I show you my absolute massive wound? Sounds a bit rude, doesn't it? Hold on. Can you, oh, see, I can't even, oh, hello. Can't even, see, it's so massive. I mean, I'll be honest, it's quite teeny. Hello? Right, there you are, see. I can't even see my massive, I could have actually done this, couldn't I? I didn't actually need to. Anyway, it hurt, it bled, but it doesn't look dramatic, sadly. She didn't say sorry. Solly? She didn't say sorry. No, hello, Shin. I'll be honest, Rosie, I'm worried. Yeah, if you need to sit down and put your head between your legs because it does look so savage, I understand. We will be talking about the air ambulance later, and perhaps I could have called them for something quite so monstrous. Thing is, of course, she looks so cute that you can't actually say, look, claw went deep, blood. And then, yeah, but look at that face. Look at that face. Cute ones get away with everything. So, 1 minute to go. It's going to tick round so quickly, and then we're going to have a wander, and I'm going to take you there, and I'm going to take you there, and then we'll come back here. It's going to be very exciting. We're on the nose. So firstly, hello and welcome. I'm Leonie and I'm your virtual tour guide for today, or indeed the next 45 minutes. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel and indeed join my Facebook group, Leonie on Tour, and of course join the main group Facebook, which is Together Virtually. Thank you for joining. We are going to be having a walk around Bluebell Hill. I'm going to turn the camera and you're going to see the first shot. Not sure that was the word I was looking for, but you will see the first look at the view, which is fairly spectacular. And I like the fact that a bird just came down. There's quite a few children around, and I'm very anti getting children on film. So if I suddenly end up showing you something that's a little bit random, it's either because I'm rubbish or it's because I'm trying to avoid children. You'll never know. So if you can just pretend it's always because I'm avoiding children. I'm using my microphone because it's a little bit windy. For those of you that regularly travel with me know that I'm an absolute demon at getting the microphone wrapped around things. So if the gimbal plunges, let's pretend it never happened and we'll move on. We have a couple of people with, nearly said flags out, that's completely the wrong thing. Kites, almost like a flag, but completely different. Come on. Now, I'm going to tell you more about the makeup of where we're standing and where we're looking. But firstly, I'm going to take you deep into the, just as we're moving here, the kite's fallen down. Deep into the woods and tell you a little bit of a tale. What I would say is, for those of you that wish to come to Bluebell Hill, you need to have buns of steel to walk up this slope. My buns are more like buns of candy floss and are unlikely to be doing that walk back up. Yeah. I hope you're enjoying the view. I'm walking past a group of people who are again looking at me strangely. It's great to have the gimbal in my hand as an excuse for people at me looking at me strangely. I'll be honest, if you tried roly-poly, Donna, I don't think you would actually stop. Now then, let me get my gimbal into some semblance of order. Oh, we have, which, of course, I can't show you because my gimbal doesn't want me to. So we're going to go into the woods, which are around Bluebell Hill. So Bluebell Hill is a point that you have to go past if you want to go, unless you want to go the long way round, which would make no sense at all. If you would like to go from Maidstone to Rochester, you come up the A229, which is a dual carriageway now. The traffic is incredibly busy. And on either side, you have these woods, which are rather beautiful. And what I'm going to take you to is just to show you a little bit of the carriageway. Now, for those who know me, know that actually I'm not a fan of heights. And so when it gets too close to the bridge that crosses the carriageway, I will then stop, have a panic and run. So if you can bear with me. Now, there's a few legends linked to Bluebell Hill and a few ghosts linked to Bluebell Hill. There's a little bit of a controversy over who the ghosts actually are, and if I meet them, I will have a chat and find out. Is my gimbal on the wonk? Or is my head on the wonk? I'm not entirely convinced. But of course, well, if it's a little out of focus, Tish, it might be your signal. It should be. I've got a beautiful. Well, this is it. It might just be the signal. So if it is slightly tilted, if everybody can just bend their head, that'd be marvellous. As I plunge into the, I've just realised why. Hold on one second. Something must be pressing onto my volume. Oh, this is professional, isn't it? This is just marvellous. Right, there you are. That's better. The volume button was covering the screen. So, on the 19th of November 1965, it would have been a cold night, and Suzanne Brown was on her way back from her hen night, and the Ford Cortina that she was in spun out of control, and it collided with a Jaguar coming the other way. And by Jaguar, for those who don't know, I don't mean the big cat, I mean the Jaguar car. Ford Cortinas were pretty much staple cars when we were younger. My father had one as a company car. Now, unfortunately, there were 4 ladies in the Ford Cortina. Patricia Ferguson died at the scene, and unfortunately, Suzanne and Judith Lingham died in the hospital later. Now, the sad thing is that she was due to marry RAF technician Brian Wetton the following day. Since that tragedy, people have reported seeing a bride stopping traffic on the A229. However, this is disputed. The reason why it's disputed is because a ghost, a female ghost, was seen on Bluebell Hill years before the accident occurred. Now, there's a lot of ghost stories around Bluebell Hill, and if I decide that I'm brave enough, I will do a tour one evening when it's semi-dark and tell you all about them. And if you can look down there, that's basically the main route, which is really interesting when you think that you have such a main transport link between the two towns, and then what we're in is an area of outstanding natural beauty. Now, you might be able to hear the traffic noise because it's rather loud. Whoops. And as we move away from the traffic noise, we're into these beautiful woods, and I can hear, which you probably can't, the sound of the leaves and the branches in the wind. And what I would suggest is you wouldn't want to be walking here on your own after, say, 7 p.m. at night. Which is interesting because it's 10 past 7. Now, nearby we have Rochester Airport, which I spoke about, and initially this was the site for the air ambulance, and at the time it was called Kent Air Ambulance, a catchy title, I'm sure you'll agree, says what it does on the tin. It was founded by Kate Chivers in 1989. Now initially it was only on a part-time basis. It started at Rochester Airport, but in the year 2000 it moved to Marden. Now from Marden, due to the high cruising speed of the helicopter, which was over 150 miles per hour, it enabled it to reach almost all of the county within 15 minutes, which is absolutely astonishing because I can barely get to the end of my road within 15 minutes on sometimes. Now, of course, as demand increased in 2008, they worked with Sussex Police and they introduced a helicopter which was equipped for nighttime flying. Now, in 2007, after a 2-year fundraising campaign, which was spearheaded by Penelope Keith, who those from Britain might recognise, she was a fairly famous actress. They managed to operate a second helicopter which served Surrey and Sussex, so the nearby counties, and then they relocated to Red Hill Aerodrome. Now, today they've got 3 helicopters and they can reach 4 counties within 25 minutes. They've also got 4 rapid response vehicles if the helicopters can't be deployed. Now, they were one of the first to carry blood on board, which is increasing the chance of casualties living, which is absolutely fantastic. And you do wonder whether or not that would have made any difference to Suzanne in the 1960s when she had her accident. Now, since they were set up, they've attended 30,000 incidents. In 2022, they spent £16.6 million. So it's not cheap, but oh so worthwhile. Now, their charity HQ and their forward operating base is at Rochester Airport, so back where they originally started, but their aircraft is hangared and maintained at Red Hill Aerodrome. As you can see, we've got kites flying. I would have thought it was a bit too windy, Miller, but they're going, they're going. Yes, the Good Life. Was that 1970s or 1980s? Unfortunately, the only way of showing you the kite is by actually showing you the people, and I'm not quite sure that the people want to be shown. I'm going to have a little play with my gimbal, bear with me. I'm not a happy bunny. '70s. Well, obviously, I never watched it then because I was born in the 1990s, as we know. Hello, Adrian. Now, the air ambulance was indeed founded in 1989, and in 1998 it was about 5:30 on the 26th of July. So how many years is that? About coming up for 25 years then, isn't it? There was a helicopter who was coming back after an aborted call to a road traffic accident on the A2. The helicopter lost height, and hit power cables. Now, customers at the nearby Robin Hood pub noticed how the lights flashed at the time. And that would have been the moment that helicopter hit the 11,000 voltage cable. It plummeted into the woodland in Bluebell Hill. There was a fireball on impact, and unfortunately all died instantly. That was the pilot, Graham Budden, who was only 40, and the paramedics, Mark Darby, who was 37, and Tony Richardson, who was 43. Now, this was a massive thing for Kent because, of course, they were doing life-saving work. They were only 1 minute from their base. Now, the initial investigation established that there was no cause for the crash, and it was suggested that they were flying low for fun. So the pilot's employers, the Police Aviation Services, denied liability. In 2004, that's steeper than I thought. In 2004, a civil case was brought by the pilot's widow in the High Court in Manchester, and they ruled the crash was caused by mechanical failure, and they ordered that compensation be paid. And if you visit the site, you will see this, which is in memory of those 3 amazing people who lost their lives. And I think it's nice to remember people that actually worked hard to protect us all. Or at least not you guys, because not all of you, were in Kent. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't in Kent. Oh yes, no, I was actually. I was in Kent then. I loved these flowers last time I came. Absolutely. And you can see, see, we've got a bit of wind on them. Leslie, it is very sad that it took 16 years for the compensation. 16 years. They can get government grants, Leslie. So most of them, they have to, a lot of the paramedics and the doctors are funded by, are actually employed by the NHS or the military. But there is, it's obviously very expensive, but you can't put a price on life. Well, I'm hoping, Tish, when we come for the sunset, which will be on the 25th, it's going to be spectacular. And it's like the Greyhound tour all over again. Looks like a lurch to me. I think of you and hope the day will come when we are back together, so close that we are one. That one wasn't a song, I don't think. But that was indeed a tree stump that I just tripped over. So we're going to have a nice wander. Janie's got a thunderstorm in York. I know, maybe didn't get the memo that the lurchers were last weekend. wasn't everyone, Leslie. I mean, you know, when you're that cute though, you need to show yourself off. Now, we're on Bluebell Hill. We're at what's called Bluebell Hill picnic site. At its highest, it is 520 feet or 160 metres for those who don't work in Fitzies. Ah, Mr. Higgett is on board. I was wondering if you were with us. Now, it's a chalk hill and it's part of the North Downs Way. Now, back in the 18th, 19th century, it was quarried for chalk. Now it's a 5 acre, so about 12 acres nature reserve, and it's managed by the Kent Wildlife Trust, who are the local wildlife trust, which is a charity. I did indeed many years ago, 20 years ago, I applied to work for the Kent Wildlife Trust. I can't remember what I was going to do, something to do in communications, I think. And I remember I told a little bit of a porky pie at the time. I said I had worked on the website, which actually kind of had been done by my company, but I hadn't really done much on it. And I said it was www.banhunting.com. And of course, I found that rather amusing. And I giggled. And at the point that I giggled, I thought, well, that's lost it. I didn't get the job, but I wasn't sad about it. Well, it wasn't a lie, Leslie, it was more of a little fib. I may have over-enthused my involvement. Now, we are in an area of outstanding beauty, so the Kent Downs area of outstanding beauty, and what we're looking at is a range of wildflowers around here. Isn't that cute? Isn't it cute? Oh no, I think I've trodden in dog poo. That's not so cute. And now I've got my microphone caught on a bramble. It's all good. It's all good, Leslie. We're all good. So this is obviously a place that dog walkers come. So sorry. That was a dramatic foot went further than I expected. Now I'm going to walk slowly because there are brambles. Now, this is part of the North Downs Way route, and the Prehistoric Pilgrims Way is at the foot of the hill. Going through is High Speed 1 that runs beneath the hill. Oh, good Lord. It was easier when I was walking without the gimbal, when I was trying all this out, that's all I'm saying. Now the A229, as I said, it follows the route of the Roman road. There is a lower Bell pub. There was an Upper Bell pub, but the Upper Bell club, oh goodness gracious me, let's just use the word pub, shall we? Closed in 2005, and that was because they cut off one of the slip roads. So you have a lower bell, but not an upper bell. And then you have a ding-dong bell, but that's something completely different. Now, what I do for you guys, I tell you. Now, a famous feature in this area is actually some prehistoric tombs. If anybody's interested in seeing those, let me know, and I might try and find out exactly how to get them and whether there's, or get to them, not get them, I can't carry them, they're rather heavy. They're called the Medway megaliths, and they are from 3,700 to 3,400 BCE, which is before the current era. So quite frankly, they're jolly old. Oh, this is very much blowy on my old gimbalilly. Now, bear in mind that my history knowledge doesn't go back to 3,700 BCE. So it might be more of a case of, look at those, aren't they old, aren't they lovely, golly gosh. I thought rye was old, but apparently not. Now, approximately 50% of the world's surviving old chalk grassland is in the UK. However, in the last 60 years, we've lost an estimated 80% of that. And now there's only very small fragmented patches, so about 273 hectares. I mean, I've no idea really what that is. I mean, it sounds large to me, but obviously not large in the scheme of things, in Kent. And of that, only 17 hectares is categorised as unimproved and species rich. Now, chalk grassland can have more than 40 species per square metre, which is double that of other grassland habitat. So you can see that it's really important because many species rely on this remaining land for survival. And I'm not going to trample all over it. I'm going to walk through some paths. And interestingly enough, my trainer socks, which have been newly washed and dried, are indeed falling down my feet, which is no doubt enticing any nettles to sting my lovely little footsies. So we might go onto the wonky donk bench just for a little bit so I can rearrange my socks. This is twice we've spoken about socks. Once John and his sandals, and now mine. It would be a very long way for Leslie to come down to talk about tombs. To me, to you. There are plenty of dock leaves about, Sue. Now, I was speaking about Pilgrim's Way, which is skirting around the base of the hill, and pilgrims travelled from Canterbury to Winchester to pray for St Swithin, who was buried at Winchester Cathedral, and then they came back in reverse to pray at the shrine of Thomas Becket, which was at Canterbury. Now, the North Downs Trail is 153 miles long. I nearly said metres, that wouldn't be that impressive. It passes through a variety of different landscape, which includes 8 castles, 3 cathedrals, 3 archbishops' palaces, and stately homes and gardens are close by as well. There's Neolithic sites, Roman, Napoleonic forts, World War II fortifications. Now, much of the North Downs Way Trail follows the Pilgrim's Way. So if anybody wants to walk those 153 miles, do let me know. I don't wear socks and sandals, to be clear. I have got trainers on. I mean, of all the things that I do, please don't tarnish me with that brush. Now, on a clear day, you can view south over Kent and the High Weald. West you can see over Seven Woaks onto Surrey. And then in the middle distance you can see Merritherworth Woods. Urban area of Maidstone, Aylesford and Snodland. Now Aylesford is absolutely stunning, but unfortunately has no signal. And underneath are the post-industrial Cullen pits, which again is a haven for wildlife. Now, Pizzazz would never not wear socks with sandals. See, we've got a sandal sock debate going on now. Of all the things I thought we'd be discussing today, that wasn't one of them. I'm going to love everybody, okay? You can wear your socks with your sandals. You can wear your sandals without your socks. And you can wear your socks without your sandals, because we love everybody here. And as I always say, comfort comes first. Well, Tish, this is exactly what I'm suggesting I do. If I do my ghosts of Bluebell Hill. Now I'm going to roll down the hill with you guys until we get to the bottom, and then we'll continue the tour, yeah? Teddy's now got into the sock debate. Teddy doesn't care. It is very steep. Got no chance of getting back up. Might need to call out the ambulance. So you can see over here, hold on 1 second, I've managed to get my microphone caught. So you can see over in the distance, we're looking towards Aylesford and Maidstone. Then we'd be looking towards Snodland, around there. And now this is interesting. So I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't tell you what I'm looking at. Rosie says she's lost me. Have you all lost me? I am very aware of the holes, Donna. Incredibly aware of the holes. When I said I got lost down rabbit holes, they weren't the kind of holes I was talking about. When I first came to Kent, I viewed a house in Snodland. And I said to the lady, what is there to do around here? And she said, there's a kebab shop down the road. Right, well there you are then. We didn't move to Snodland with its kebab shop. Oh, thank you, Leslie. You always remind me. Thank you, everybody who's watching, please do subscribe, please do like the video, and thank you to those of you that are able to send me a tip. There should be a pinned post which is to my Buy Me a Coffee and to my PayPal. And of course I've just introduced membership on Buy Me a Coffee. I'll be offering little member perks like sending used trainer socks. No, that's a fib, that's not a perk. And can you see that deep dip? I am not a native of Kent. No, that's why I'm celebrating my 26th anniversary. I was born in Leicester. Mike and I could have been neighbours, and I lived there for 3 months, moved down to Portsmouth, and then, yeah, Hampshire lass now. I think that house there in the centre. Well, interesting, Janie. I did a calculation, and I'm not sure why. I've been doing some filing because I have paperwork all over the place. I thought it'd be really interesting to see how much I spend a year on pet insurance. So I have a policy for Apollo and Freya. I have a policy for Cato. I have a policy for Odessa, and I have a shared policy for Milo and Baloo. So I totted it all up. And it came to £1,889, and I thought to myself, maybe that's what I should be putting on my Buy Me a Coffee. And then I put the papers away. The thing is, of course, as we all know, unexpected things happen, and you never know when you might need insurance. My little Tinky Winks did through once burst through his 4K limit. Leslie, I'm quite sure they don't give a monkeys no. That's the problem, Emma. The problem isn't the little ones. So maybe it's £150 a month each for the little ones. The problem is I have Milo who's going on for 16, Baloo who's going on for 14, and Cato who's coming up for 10. They're all deemed as seniors over the age of 8. The problem is going to be next year, because Milo's been diagnosed with hypothyroidism and Baloo's been having some tests, and of course the pet insurance company are going to ramp up the costs. Tinker on his own was costing about £1,000 a year, but equally that was in pet insurance, but then he probably made all the money back and some. Oh, Tina! Tina had to clean her long-haired cat after being outside. I'm assuming the cat went outside, not Tina. Yeah, no, I have not named Cato after a vegetable, or is it a salad? It's not kale. I'll tell you what, Tish, is this going to give you the wibbly wobblies? Oh, Tina, I'd quite like a proper rub down with a damp cloth in this heat. But I'll be honest, I think you're a bit far away. So, John, is this where I found my thrill on Bluebell Hill? No, but there's lots of things I could rhyme about. Now, I'm not going to take you all the way down here, I'm just showing you. Cato is a rather lardy ginger cat. Cato is Inspector Clouseau's, well, what do you call him? His sidekick, I suppose, who used to attack Inspector Clouseau every time he came in. So he tried to keep Inspector Clouseau, who was Peter Sellers, on his toes. And by attacking him, coming out from nowhere, and of course, hilarity used to ensue. Now, the reason why I called him Cato is because he was a 4-week-old handler who used to like to chomp. Now he's a nearly 10-year-old, and I really ought to check his birthday because it's probably coming up incredibly soon. And the good news is that he still likes to chomp. So yes, Cato Potato. No manners, was a hand rear. What can you do? John has now realised the epic misread, that it's actually Bluebell Hill, not Blueberry Hill, which I'll be honest would be a very fruity name. Sadly no, John, but I liked your comment anyway. This is a safe space. We all talk nonsense. It's the way we like it. Some more than others. I'm not going to start naming names. It's a shame about the electricity pylons. As I said, no names. No names. Hey Nikki, how's the electric? Isn't it time for a power cut? Oh. Don't even, Nikki, don't even. Even's in capital letters, so I'm guessing there's been mucho power cuts. Oh, that's why you were late. Oh, Nikki, I'm sorry to hear that. But it's not the first time, Nikki, and I know it won't be the last. Ooh. No, I'll be honest, Janie, Nikki's not even on the same continent. Oh, you are naughty. Look at that, it's 8:15. It is, isn't it, Tina? That's why. That's why, Leslie. That would be the same place. But I'm not going to show you too much of that because obviously we're going to come back. for my 26th year anniversary. It's going to be super amazing. Yeah, I'll be honest, I had no clue what load shedding was. I know what hair shedding is, that's what the long hairs do, right? Sock alert, we've got a sock falling down alert. I'll tell you what I could do is I could walk backwards. Thank you, Laura. Yeah, I've just realised walking backwards and Dorna's voice ringing in my ears, even though I didn't hear her saying, mind the hills. Which continent are you, Cynthia? Tina, I'm glad you said that. I was going to make a comment about Mind the Gap, but then I thought nobody maybe would actually know. US North America. We have a few US North Americans on board. Mind the Gap. I had a rather concerning time last time I was on the underground when somebody got stuck when the doors closed on them. Thought we were going to end up with one arm left at the station and an armless person coming with us. It was rather disconcerting. Oh, California. Oh, make us all jealous. Down in Cali.
Oh no! Alright, let's keep walking though.
Thank you. The one, I mean, when I'm complaining about the wind, you must look at me and think that's ridiculous. I'm from Chicago, now that's wind.
Welcome to Bluebell Hill viewpoint. The best dogging spot of them all.
Women like to go sit on the underground station as her husband. Ah, yes, I've seen that one. Where her husband wrote the, well, didn't he do the train announcements? Yeah, Cynthia, sadly, I'd have tolerated ghosts better. They were kids finding themselves hysterical. But you know, I'd probably have done the same myself. I have got an extendable pole on this extendable pole. It's not called an extendable pole. It's called a whatchamacallit, long telescopic doofer. Oh Lord, what do you call it? Oh, Tanzania, I don't like the thought of actually the train moving with somebody half in, half out. Selfie stick. Yes, it's not called a selfie stick. It might be a telescopic stick. It's not telescopic though. It's the gimbal. Extendable. Ah, an extension pole. It's not pole though, is it? Just sounds ridiculous. I mean, either way, I could pull it up, but the problem is that it gets rather blowy, and it doesn't have the support, so you might see over the trees, but you might be lopsided. I like all the suggestions. There's quite a few that I probably would have used. Right, we are over time. I'll have to Google what it is. I won't have to Google. Oh, whatever, nobody cares. It's a thing that makes the phone higher in the air. Bluebells on Bluebell Hill, not in this bit, no. Well, I'll be honest, there might be. But, and I assume many years ago there would have been, and there probably are somewhere. I mean, it's a jolly big hill. Has anybody got any questions before I depart? I don't mean depart this mortal coil. I mean depart the tour. Yeah, bluebells would be earlier in the year, but that's lovely. Somebody's left a tin of Red Bull and an empty water bottle. Don't you love people? So don't stop typing as nothing's coming out, right? Keep going. I still keep talking, don't I? I hope you've all had fun. I'll keep going for a couple more minutes, but I must stop swinging my legs like I am, because that's probably distorting the view. So, well, I was thinking the same, Mike. There is woodland around here, but I'm not sure it's of the right makeup to have bluebells. Can I see my house? No, I haven't got my glasses on. I can't really see to the end of my nose. What's this? Oh, Tina, you do love your ghost, don't you? Well, I was suggesting there are lots of... I'll make this tour public afterwards for a little bit. Then I'll probably put it into the private or unlisted. But yes, I was saying there's quite a few ghost tales around here, so I might do a darker, later ghost tour. It would have to be later in the year because... obviously it gets dark quite late at the moment. Ideally I would have somebody with me because I may give myself the willies, which hopefully is understood what I mean internationally. The tombs are down, there's down a bit, round a bit, and I have to do a bit of trampling. So, oh Leslie, you know I will. You know I'm going to brave it. I mean, I'm here now on my own. I could be attacked by an axe murderer. Why are they always axe murderers? Why does axes have to come into it? Thank you that's everybody who's been able to support me with a tip, and appreciate not everybody can. And if you would like to sign up as a member on Buy Me a Coffee, got my kitten level membership. Yes, unfortunately, Natalie lives quite a way away, and not being in the Hago days, we just need to think about expenses. So I'm afraid it's just going to be me, but hopefully that'll be good enough for you. That view just is beautiful. Can you imagine living here, opening your front door and seeing that? I know, Janie, you're already a kitten, thank you. And very exciting, actually. I need to have finished in 5 minutes. So, Tina, because I need to count the votes on the postcard tour. at 8 o'clock on the dot. So down there we are looking at the town of Maidstone. We're getting into Aylesford. It would be wonderful if I could find a map that actually showed where we were looking at. Hats. Yes, hats. And I hate to say it, but I looked, last time I looked, that I was doing rather well on the votes, so that's slightly exciting. Janie's collage of my various ridiculous faces and hats. So I've turned the camera, you know what that means? It means I've turned the camera. It's coming up to the end of the tour. Thank you very much. Oh, there's a selfie. And of course, please do join my Facebook group. Well, they'll have to do it in the next 3 minutes, Tina. Please do join my Facebook group, Leonie on Tour. Please do subscribe. And please do join me next week for my, whatever I called it, drift away in a mind canoe, I think is what I called it. And if you could, please do a post about this tour if you enjoyed it, because the promotion really helps, especially when we haven't got Hago, and we are trying to get people to come to our tours. It does really help you sharing and liking posts. So I'm going to blow you a big kiss. Thank you to everybody, and I hope to see you all very soon. Take care. Bye. Bye.